if I go back to my catalog and we navigate to this report, there's a PO ad hoc report. We can open that on the fly and refresh it and view it live. There's also another option, which is this schedule option. If we go ahead and choose schedule, then you'll notice some different options here. Output. So we can say this would be our output 1. I'll just leave it at that. You call it whatever you want. I want this to be my data table report. Maybe I want that going as a, leave that as a PDF format. Actually, no, we'll leave that one as maybe a Excel. And if I go ahead and add another, so output 2, I want this to run my PO with charts, maybe as a PDF format. Okay. Go to the schedule. We can schedule it once. You can go ahead and set up on some type of recurring calendar. Maybe you want this to run every day, be emailed to you, so you have this open PO sitting in your inbox every day. Right now, we're just going to schedule it once. You can set up notifications here. Go ahead and hit submit. Give this job a name. Choose OK. Once it's completed, it'll say job submitting. It'll say the job's been submitted successfully. Job submitted, successfully submitted. We'll go ahead and hit return here. It's going to bring us back here. Now, if we actually had scheduled this job multiple times, within our jobs there'll be a job history. So if I go here to job history, and if I go ahead and refresh that, here's that demo PO report. Go ahead and open that up. We actually had that run to 2 outputs. The first one was to Excel, second one was to PDF. So I can go ahead and just click on that output, choose open. Right, that's the first one. The data table had to export directly out to Excel. And the second one we actually had exported to a PDF format as well. Okay. So that's some of the scheduling. Go ahead and just focus a couple of, it accidentally closed out of the publisher. So again, what we had done there was we went to new, selected a data model, built a quick report. The reason why we were able to do that so quickly was because the data model had already been created. If you were a JD Edwards customer and implementing this BI Publisher Enterprise or Standalone out of the box, first thing you need to do is under the administration is go to Jdbc Connections and establish your different connection strings. Right? So this would be where you'll probably be working with somebody in IT or administrator to get this configured and connected properly. And then either yourself, if you have this skill set, can build data models, or you might need some help from some of the more technical people, if you're not very technical, to build some of the data models so you can then build some of the end reports. But looking ahead, we're going to take a peek at the data model that we used to build the financial reporting package. In this case, under the data model, we've got this, we use this balance 2. If I go ahead and choose edit, you'll notice a few different things. First off, we created a list of values that was prompting us for the different period numbers, right, with the date and the numbers. We also had parameters for company, fiscal year, and period. The data set, though, this is kind of where we're actually getting some of this from the JD Edwards structure. So if we click on this data set we've already created as part of the package data model that we deliver, if I go ahead and edit the data set, this is the SQL statement that was generated by the query that we created. Now, if you have already defined SQL, and if it's pretty common SQL, then BI Publisher may be able just to utilize that without having to make any changes to it. We've tried to build all of our content, package content, where you could actually build it with the query builder. That way you could open up the query builder and add things to existing data models that we may be delivering. So for instance, within here, one of the things that we've used is we have, and we'll talk about this more at the end of the presentation, but these database views that are all logically named. So BI, financial account balances, account ledger, organization, business unit, and the field names have both the long names as well as the aliases, so you kind of can make sure that even if you have a field that's just titled description, that you know kind of what that field is associated with. So we basically have selected the applicable tables for the different modules of JD Edwards, and then we set up the data models where we've selected the objects that will be most commonly used for some data models. Again, if we don't have everyone, you can grab from an existing table in a data model and add another checkbox and add the field to the list and then refresh it, and now you've in essence added to or made a change to an existing data model. Here's a SQL that gets generated, the results of that. Of course, we've already got our parameters integrated into there as well. So that's kind of the first step would be, you're going to go in, if you're building a data model from scratch, you'd come in here, but you'd instead of opening up an existing data model and editing it, you'd do new and then start linking tables and adding your objects. And then in essence you'll get to your statement defined here, and then you'll have your list of your grid here. Now you'll notice that some of these objects came right from the database itself. You're wondering, well, how come they're short names and not long names? And the reason why you see that on the technical side, we shorten those names here in this structure, because the tags with the shorter name, even though the names that you'll see as an end user, what you see on the right, we shorten those on the design side because it makes the XML document that gets generated smaller, so it performs faster and it takes up less disk space as well. So that's why you're seeing these cryptic names. But we have a lot of objects here, some things like object account and description. So we've gone in here and added things where a lot of times you want to concatenate the object with the description, or the business unit.object.sub, those types of objects. We also, the way we do our row-based reporting is we create these flags. That's how we get our groupings and summarizations for revenue and costs and gross profit, net income, and those types of things. And based on the parameters that have been set up, we also have created here these objects for you to drag and drop into a report, like time-based measures, month-to-date actual amount, budget amount, reversing the sign, inception to date, year-to-date, quarter-date, those types of things as well as some of the date titles. So this is in essence a built-out data model. Once you were to go, if you were to get this far and build out the data model, to go ahead and create a sample XML data set, you click here on the Get XML. And this is now where you would actually go in and create the sample XML data set for your report. In this case, maybe I want to pull just 5 rows. You can pull all rows. It's really up to you. You can go ahead and run that. It actually creates the XML that's required for the report. You go over here on the right and choose Save as Sample Data. Once you've gone to that step there and save that sample data, you can in essence go up to New, choose Report, grab that data model, and start building the report. So that's just where sometimes to get these data models in place for the various JD Edwards modules may be something that is not necessarily for everybody. But wanted to show you a glimpse of that. This happens to be one of our kind of packaged data models. And we're also working on some things to build out formulas and some utilities to help in the BI Publisher experience for JD Edwards customers.